We want to bring in Greg Marley from NAMI Maine. Thank you, first of all, for coming to our studio in the middle of the night. I'm sure you have been pretty plugged into everything that's been going on.
Not nearly enough, but trying to catch up as everyone is in this shocking news.
We all are.
Yeah.
You know, at this point, we are, as Lee said, 5 or so hours into this at this point. This is raw, this is fresh. There are people who are just discovering what has happened here. What is step one for walking into this day?
Step one is, if you're in a place that's safe and your family's safe, reassure yourself, breathe, kind of get your emotions under control so you can support your family, support your children. If you're one of the people that has those questions, is my family safe? Are my friends safe? Try and breathe, know what you can get answered tonight. You're going to be frantic, but this is going to be a long, long process. So take care of yourself, take care of the people you're with, reach out, and try not to be alone. This is a time to be with people who love you, to hold each other close.
Greg, we talked about this a little bit. There's never a good time for something like this to happen, but it happened at about 7 o'clock. Not a lot of kids had gone to bed yet. A lot of kids are, you know, through no fault of their own, they're surrounded by all this news, and their families and their parents or siblings reacting to this news. So a lot of parents are still awake watching, and maybe a lot of kids as well that have a million questions. This is the stuff they've practiced for just in case, and are just in cases now. How do you handle this with your children? I know a lot of parents would love to know, what do I say? Whether they're in Androscoggin County or they're in Cumberland or Aroostook County.
Yes. I think the big piece is, if you're a parent, if you've got the news, try not to get that news repeated every 5 minutes so you're not re-triggering your children. So let them know, then speak simply and directly about what happened. Reassure them that they're safe, that your family's safe, and then slowly allow them to ask questions, answer what you can. And there's a lot of things we don't know yet, and be okay saying we don't know yet, and we may not know until tomorrow. So that they can begin to settle into a routine and maybe get some sleep tonight. And maybe you can get some sleep tonight as well. Mom, Dad, yeah.
Yes, because we will all need it, yes, to process the rest. You know, a few minutes ago, Chris Costa spoke with a professor who studies mass shootings and kind of the data that we've learned over the years from those. His words were, there's a frustration tonight for certainly people in his world that study that data. My word is, I feel like our state was violated tonight because there is such a feeling of, it hasn't happened here, we haven't had to deal with this. Yeah. How do we square that reality from, it's always been somewhere else, now this is my neighborhood?
Well, I think in a lot of situations, people have been waiting for this shoe to drop because we see the headlines from across the country, and Maine has been somewhat insulated. And tragically, that ended tonight. And it's that acceptance, that reality that this is a state where violent crime happens as well, a mass shooting, and it's going to retool our whole perception for a while.
I do have a follow-up question to our students and our children. You and I have had conversations in the past, actually about a year ago, of a hoax situation. And part of that conversation was, you know, gauge your child, maybe allow them to lead the conversation if they're showing interest. Is this different though, because it's here? Should you as a parent be initiating the conversation?
I think you need to let your children know in a really basic language what happened, so that they're not hearing it from someone else, you know, outside of your control. Choose a time, get them settled. If you can wait and do it tomorrow morning and after they've gotten sleep, definitely do that. But then be ready for questions. Be ready for their questions, depending upon their age. Younger kids are going to want to know: are we safe? Am I safe? Is my pet safe? Is my family safe? And reassure that, and then ask questions about, because one of the things they're going to want to know: why would anyone do this? And that's one of those things we can't really explain, other than someone was really, really ill to take this violent action. And to reassure them that this is not something that happens often, and again, they're safe.
So, in all fairness, we are talking about this in this conversation as something that happened this is something that is still happening. They don't have the man yet that they're looking for. There are still people that are sheltered in place. They can't go out of their house. They're sitting here at 12:30 at night, and they're wondering, what am I supposed to be doing right now? I mean, they're worried for their current state of safety, not just the stuff that's already happened. And that's a tough place to sit in, this uneasiness and this unknown. I think knowns in general are easier to deal with than unknowns, and right now we have a big unknown. We don't know where Robert Card is.
We don't know where that perpetrator is, and to keep your family safe, keep them in the house, close your windows and your curtains, and then reassure. Settle down with warm milk and for your children to help them relax, low conversations. Keep yourself centered. If you're in the Lewiston-Auburn area where it's more immediate, again, shelter in place. Don't be alone. Know who you're talking with. Reach out to your friends and family to know they're safe, just to reassure you and your family. And hold your loved ones close tonight and reassure them.
A final question. I'm sure we will see much more of you over the next day, but at least for this moment of this is a lot. This is a lot to process. This is a lot to handle, and there are a ton of unknowns. How do I find some good right now?
Right now, you need to first is to accept what happened, to get through the shock, and then look around you. Look around your home. Look at the what's concrete. Breathe into this. Note what's around you that's safe and known. Pull out that book that your child has always loved to read, that movie that settles them down. Active steps to settle our limbic system that's so aroused right now. That's going to be really important. Reassure that we have gone a long time without this type of crime in the state of Maine, and it's really unusual. We live in a state that most of the time is really safe. It doesn't feel safe tonight, and it's not safe for a lot of people, but we're going to get back to that. But first we have to deal with this and to support that sense of safety around us. If you're a parent, also monitor how escalated you get, how fearful you are, and so you don't overwhelm your children with that.
Don't push those necessarily onto them. Greg Marley from NAMI Maine, we appreciate it for joining us, and I'm sure we will have many more conversations.